What a well did drama mag, what coming in with a long-awaited deck profile for you guys. I am so sorry that I've just literally been MIA. Life's just been busy. Life has just been busy, but I've been grinding with our girl. It's gonna be Cendrillmon, baby. You know how we do this. SP magic, all that good stuff. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my current rendition of the special booster 2.0, BT18, 19, whatever you want to call it, deck profile for you, because I've been grinding out this deck for so long, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Is it meta? Probably not, but with the right pilot, I'm sure it can definitely go the distance. So if this is a video for you, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, like what you see, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell, because I do videos on the reg. So let's dive on into the ratios and all the good stuff. So the eggs have taken a slightly different change compared to my usual standard, and one thing I just want to clear up is that, like, you know, this deck list is not gospel. This deck list is me currently experimenting how to kind of take Cendrill and my rendition of the build. So this is kind of leaning a little bit more into the control kind of aspect, whilst then going all gas, no brakes at the same time. So we are going to be using the BT18 Wanyamon at 4. So definitely a different take in terms of the usual egg. Obviously the Cendrillmon EX7 egg and the starter deck version are solid choices. You know, draw is powerful, and also just, you know, minusing 2k off the opponent's security Digimon is always sexy. But the thing that I'm definitely valuing with this is that if you have a yellow tamer out, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k for the turn. This actually comes up really clutch in order for you to once again control field or lower the DP of a Digimon that potentially has blocker or collision and so forth, making it very difficult for them to essentially kill out our Digimon, because now we can actually, you know, have more DP than them. Also, obviously the control element there. We do have promos which do neg an additional 2k DP just by attacking, which effectively you can delete up to a 6k DP body just on this egg and those two cards alone, on top of then your Cendrillmon EX7 that also negs 6k. So 12k on a swing before the overclock's even initiated is pretty huge. So this one I'm currently testing at the moment, and it has been coming up pretty clutch and has helped me kind of control field whilst being aggressive with my champions and also my rookies if I do want to be going swinging. But it is completely up to you in terms of the eggs that you want to run. It's just currently what I'm experimenting. So that concludes with the eggs 4. Going on to the rookies. Rookies, we run 13, so we have upped it a little bit, because realistically, you know, this Cendrill is quite low to the ground in terms of its aggression, and obviously we have cards that we can effectively use to, you know, put more on the field and grant them rush and obviously, you know, apply that gas. So naturally we still have the Shumon Searcher. This is just absolutely key in order for you to essentially net 2 cards. The Inevitable, once again, is shrinking the opponent's security Digimon by an additional 3000 DP, which is pretty huge in order for us to obviously be aggressive and make sure that our Digimon kind of stay alive when going in for the swings. Then we do run the promo shoe at 4. Absolutely fantastic. Just basically giving your opponent minus security is huge, obviously, to just slow them down, which is always great. The Inevitable combines with the egg perfectly to neg an additional 2k DP, which is just great. Then we go with the EX7 shoe. This is honestly fantastic in order for you to throw this down for free and then evo into your champion for reduced cost by 1, so effectively even in for 1. And if you do have your EX7 Shumon, it means that you can effectively turbo into that, get a tamer out, get your board kind of built up quite nicely, which is exactly what you'd be wanting in order for you to kind of make sure that you've got board establishment and can actually succeed with your game plan. Then lastly, we just finish it up with a Pawn Chessmon. The reason why I've gone with Pawn Chessmon over obviously Junkmon. Obviously Junkmon is a fantastic card, don't get me wrong, but one thing I do value of this is just able to just draw 2, well, trash a puppet and then draw 2, which draw does help out a lot. The Inevitable is kind of nice there as well with the reboot, but it does cost 1 to evo off your egg. So realistically, you don't want to be even on the back into this, but if you have to, unfortunately. But once again, that draw power is definitely essential, especially with the cards that we do run, in order to effectively utilize this in particular plays to extend our combos. So that concludes there for the rookies, solid 13. Now going over to the champions, we do run 10, so we've actually upped that up a little bit, because champions, you know, we can't climb to our top end if we can't even get a freaking champion up in our stack. So we go in with the promo shoe at 3, which I'm actually considering to bumping up to 4. In all honesty, I've just bit the bullet and just had to order another one. This is just so good in terms of what it does, in order for you to keep your Digimon on field and prevent them from attacking into it, and also give them minus security 1. And then if you have an Orisa out on the field, it gains jamming, meaning that you can swing safer into the opponent's security. And then, like I've mentioned with the egg and also the promo Shoemon, effectively we can get rid of 4K bodies on a swing, which is just beautiful. And then on top of that, if we evo then into our Chaperone EX7, effectively, if we did want to do overclock, we can use this inheritable to then neg additional 2K off something there too. So there's a lot of combos that you can do with this particular card. This is why I'm thinking of extending it to 4 realistically, because it is just very powerful. Even just raising him back is just always great. But 3 has been working out pretty nicely. Then we go in with the card that I actually did have to bump up to 4. Originally I did have it at 3, but I feel like this is a card that just really helps you set up. Just because when Digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer Tamer cards on your field, then you're able to play out an Orisa. So in this deck, obviously you want to be, you know, ultimately setting up with 2 Orisas, 1 pretty much your memory setter, then the other one can either be your promo or your EX7 Orisa. Then the inheritable, once again shrinking that security by additional 3K, which does add up a fair bit, especially the more bodies that you have out, means that you're just pretty much shrinking the opponent's security and you're just almost like invincible, apart from obviously getting tripped up by an option. Then lastly, we do close that off with the starter deck Shoemon, which is a solid card right here. Really does help out in terms of giving you an additional swing when you need it. But if I was going to increase this Shoemon to 4, this would go down to 2, but that security effect is undeniably amazing when this card trips off, because you're able to play a 4-cost Liberator card from your hand or trash with a play cost of 4, obviously without paying the cost. So really helpful in order for you to have a set up your Tamer, put out another shoe to obviously do your search, or neg security 1 off the opponent's Digimon. There's just so many plays that you can do with this, which is helpful. And once again, that inheritable, exactly the same as the EX7, shrinking down its security by neg 3K. So that concludes there for the champions, a solid 10. Now going over to the ultimates. Ultimates, we run 7, and there's quite a few little spicy techs that we do run here compared to the other list that I did show on the channel. So here we go. So Chaperone EX7 4, absolute staple at 4. This just enables you to build wide, which building wide is definitely key in order for you to get some more swings. If you do have your starter deck Orisa out, you know, giving that Digimon that's been summoned rush, once again helps you be more aggressive. This deck is it is an aggro deck. Like its core is his aggro deck, but this meta, oh boy, there's a lot of things that can just trip, well, almost derail the strat. I'm not gonna lie. So we've got to make sure that we are prepared for those particular derails in order for us to kind of get back up into the game. So really good that it's got overclock, really good that it's got when Digivolving, able to play a level 3 Digimon with puppet trait from your hand without paying the cost. And then the inheritable is a godsend, because all turns, if this Digimon was going to be just basically removed from the field, you're able to sacrifice a puppet traded Digimon to prevent it from leaving. Really helpful. But once again, the thing that I'm finding in this current meta, which is going to be hella annoying, is that everything is near enough got de-digivolve, and that inheritable becomes useless at that point. It's honestly frustrating. Then we go in with the starter deck Chaperone at 1. I do like the Chaperone, and I am tempted to boost it up to 2, but 1, it just seems to be enough. It's on play when digivolving is that if one of your opponent get minus 3000 DP, if there is 3 Digimon in total, it gets a further 3000 DP. So you're negging 6, which is helpful, but really depends on the board state that you've got. If you're managing to keep turn, it's really great when you kind of combo into your EX7 Cendrill or your starter deck, and obviously proccing Overclock in order for you to effectively remove that menace off the field. It has the same inheritable as the EX7 Chaperone, but realistically this just helps you and your game plan in order to kind of build wide. That's what you're kind of wanting realistically, but this is a great option to even just throw down as well, because it is an on play there too. But speaking of on plays, and also our little bit of tech here, which really supports our top line, is then going to be the EX5 Enamon running at 2. This is great in order for us to derail the opponent's strategy a little bit. The fact that it's got an on play is great, and also that when digivolving, it does cost us 40 Evo into it, but we do have ways to reduce it, and we do have cards that we can proc to obviously kind of negate the hefty cost. But the thing that's really good here is that until the end of your opponent's turn, you're able to give one of their Digimon minus 3000 DP, and gains start of main. This Digimon attacks. So once again, you're basically they've got to attack, and hopefully they've got no when attacking effects in that can derail your strat, because this will ultimately lead into some of our ace plays that we do have on our top line to support this deck and what it's trying to do. So that concludes there for the Ultimate 7. So going on to now the Megas. We're running a solid 8, and definitely a bit of a change from my original lineup here. So we got some bling bling. We're going in with our EX7 Cendrill, looking at 3. So originally I did have this at 4. I felt like due to the memory, and it's like every time you evo into it, you are passing turn, which sometimes is a little bit frustrating. I think when we get the LM2 cards, Scramble's gonna go hard in this deck. I feel like people are sleeping on Scrambles, which supports this deck, because able to just basically pull a card from trash back to the top of our deck and then play that card because it's being played by an effect. We can give it rush, which is great with obviously the Orisa. So, but the good thing about Scramble is that, you know, you can use it and we can reduce an evo cost by 2, which obviously for us means that we can evo into this 4-2, which is very powerful because we can summon out a token when digivolving, and also start of main. And then on top of that, when attacking, and this is not once per turn, you're able to neg 6k DP off of the opponent's Digimon. Obviously, because this build is a little bit more control-y with obviously with the promos and the neg security off the egg, we can, on a swing, if we have the line, we can neg 12k, which is huge. And then on top of that, if we happen to overclock, we can neg then another 6k on top of that, which is very massive. It means that we can neg up to 18k. One being a big body, and then we could literally neg either another 6k DP Digimon, or we can literally spread it out and just destroy their entire board, which is going to be very massive, and helps us ensure that when we are attacking, the blockers that they thought they could block with is not now going to happen, because like I say, we are coming into a meta where Lord Nightmon is going to be a freaking menace. I've already had a bit of a taster of that, and it's rough, guys. It is so rough. If they've got Nene out and just literally all blockers, or the other variant where the Lord Nightmon variant is that they're just going to be very heavy on the aggro and going to force you to block, and they're going to pierce through you, which is a little bit annoying right there. But knock this down to 3, works really well. But the thing that I am really appreciating is going to be that starter deck Cendrill at 2, and I feel like it's been bashed quite hard. Don't get me wrong, it's probably not the greatest of cards, and I'm really looking forward to what 8th version of Cendrill will do for the deck. But it does give you a lot of board presence, because on Digivolve you are able to summon out 2 tokens, which I gotta show these tokens off right here, because I got these officially printed, my guys. Look at that. Shee, that shine, boy. I've got a link in my description by the guy who printed these off. Absolutely fantastic. I was like, the cough ones I did, aight, but these don't slap. They slap. So you can get 2 of these out, which, once again, if you have your starter deck Orissas, you know, the opponent is then going, ooh, I've miscalculated here, because now I've got what I thought was literally 1 swing could be up to 3 swings, 4 swings in reality, because if I had 2 Orissas out, I'll give those 2 tokens rush, they both swing in, this Cendril swings in, overclock, blam, 4 checks it in. So if they were at 3 security, curtains. And that's how, like, that's how this card can really sneak up. And this is how this deck kind of wins, is just the miscalculations of what cards we have in hand, what cards we have in field, and what potential we can do to give some rush and swing is nuts. Also, it is a blocker, and blockers do help, but we also got our big daddy blocker up in here, and that is going to be the Shadow Seraphi at 2. So you're probably thinking, where the Cendrillmon at? Where the Cendrillmon at? Cendrillmon's good. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm an advocate for Cherubi. I think Cherubi's solid. I have no objections if you want to be running Cendrillmon in it. The thing, though, with Cherubi is that it's very dependent on your board state in terms of how much DP you can neg to prevent an attack from happening. Which, 9 times out of 10, because our Digimon are quite low on the DP and also on the level, most decks can pretty much wipe out quite a lot of your lower end Digimon. So if you was going to blast Evo and we only had like 1 Digimon out and we were obviously able to summon out another one, that's only neg 8k. Like, the opponent can still swing in and do whatever it's going to do, and our security isn't exactly the most like high-end Digimon in terms of DP thresholds, so most likely they're probably just going to just hit into a freaking one of your Doc Martens or your Air Force Ones, and they're just still cruising. Like, it's not stopped them whatsoever. Whereas Shadow Seraphi, this brother stops 2 Digimon possibly, because on play, which is also fantastic with this, and on Digivolving, D-Digivolve 3, which is great. You wouldn't believe how powerful D-Digivolve in general, but being able to D-Digivolve 3 is pretty much knocking him right back to a champion, if not a rookie. Then on top of that, all turns, when an attack change, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. So this doesn't necessarily need to go on to the Digimon that's swinging. This could go to another Digimon that they have on the field, which might be at 5k. Blam! You take that one out, that's in the trash. Then you can just block with either one if you've got enough DP, if you're higher than it. But obviously for us, if we've done the taunt with EX5 Edamon, you know, we've already negged it by 3k, you're pretty much sitting nicely in terms of you removing bodies and controlling the field. This stops plays, versus Cherubi is situational, and I feel like you do get a bit more with this. Even if there was a scenario where you want to make sure you put your opponent in a situation where they just cannot win next turn, you could be sitting up with Cendril, nicely chilling, and they've got a Digimon that's kind of blocking the way. They could potentially ace your ass. You could just literally hard throw this down for 7, D-Digivolve 3, trigger overclock if you've got the puppet out, which you should have. You should have one of your tokens out. Pop that, neg 3k off the board, use your inheritables to do whatever you need to do. Obviously neg another 6k. You can literally blitz the field and do a check and puts them in an awkward predicament, because then they've got a blocker that they need to kind of get rid of. And then also you've still got Cendril here, who's just standing there with you know, looking nice. Obviously, the issue here, though, is obviously if you have either on top of the EX5 Edamon, is that you don't have that protection. So, like I say, if you get Digivolved or you just get sniped out, you're going to be giving that overflow 4 back to them, which is, you know, never great. But then we finish off, and this is quite hilarious. I remember in the last video I was kind of bashing it, but I've another way, and it's gonna have to put back in the Shine Greymon Burst Mode Ace at 1. It is helpful if you're obviously at our top end and the opponent's just kind of frustrated and goes in for a swing. Boom, you throw this out, you get a Tamer out, you're able to then neg up to well, actually, you're able to neg 5k per Tamer that you have, which is very helpful. Even if you don't actually have a Tamer out to play, and you happen to have, say, 2 Tamers out, that's at least 10k that you're negging, which is nice. This has come up quite a few times in order for me to actually warrant it back in the deck, because obviously my last argument was 9 times out of 10 I kind of bot deck it, but we do have more ways to actually get this card than we previously did. Granted, it's still the kind of the same method, but actually, you know, having more chances actually running into this is more probable than my last build. But that concludes there for the Digimon and for the Megas, rocking a solid 8. So going over to the Tamers. Tamers run 6, and this is probably where people are going to be like, oh, hell no, bruh. But hear me out. Seriously, hear me out here. So normal builds run this Tamer at 2. And 2's fine. Absolutely fine. Me, though, I've increased it to 3. Because, all honesty, this is kind of the card I want to see. Because getting choked with this deck is painful. If you just give the opponents too much memory, 9 times out of 10, your board's broken. Your board is broken. The thing I like about this Tamer is that it's not just useless as soon as you play it. It's like Davis. Let's just go with Davis. And Davis is the GOAT. He is the OG of blue memory Tamers. Is you know, good searcher, possibly net 2 cards. It is great. After that, he's just there. Unless you've got a hybrid in your deck, that's only when you're going to be using him after you've played it. Orisa, however, actually has use after you've played it, because any puppet traded Digimon that has been played by an effect, you're able to give it rush. So this just opens up so many aggro plays and so much future potential there as well, because we could get to a point where, you know, we might find these Liberator decks have a level 7 friggin' Evo to them, which might be able to, you know, increase our count of playing a particular playing Digimon level 5 Digimon, which then kind of increases the validation of using the start deck Chaperonemon, because that's obviously got non-play neg 6, so, you know, future plan and all that. But it does open up a lot of plays that you can do. And the more you have out of this, the more lines of play that you have in order for you to win. It is a rogue deck. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, it is a rogue deck. But God, it is goddamn fun. And being able to just rush down your opponent is sick. So I do run this at 3 because I do just want to see it. Even if I've played one out and it's tripped out of security, that just increases my lethal potential, like, without a doubt. Also as well, there's a lot of decks that can remove Tamers pretty efficiently now. So having Tamers at a 4 cost actually keeps this Tamer out on the field a bit better, versus ones that are essentially 3 cost, which we do run the X7 at 2, that can get easily removed. But man, this card is freaking good. I love this card. And obviously there is an argument to run this at 3, but I want to be starting off 3. I want to be starting at 3 memory. when I'm pushing out, I want to be at 3 memory being the thing, because it's awful when you are not. But this right here is fantastic, because if the opponent has a Digimon out in field, you're able to gain a memory. So in these two in tandem, you get 4 memory, which sits quite nicely if we do want to evo into our EX7 Cendrillmon. Beautiful. Then all turns, when one of your puppet traded Digimon is deleted, suspend this tamer, you're able to play a level 3 puppet, level 3 Digimon with puppet in trait from your hand without paying the cost, which is obviously for us is the reason why we actually increased our puppet count to the nice lucky number of 13, which is just helpful. It just means that it gives us options in terms of when we want to suspend this to get out a puppet traded Digimon in order for us to have something on field. It obviously gives us an option to kind of swing with our puppet traded Digimon. If it dies, suspend this, summon out one, suspend this, give it rush, continue the freaking swarm. So really good combo what these cards do, and I like how Bandai's just locked the fuck in and just actually printed some decent chuffing Tamers. And then lastly, we do just round it off with a complimentary promo Orisa, and this is where I'm gonna feel the Discord chat absolutely grilling my ass right now, because you know they do say that promo Orisa, if you are running a lot of shoes, promo Orisa's way, and I fully agree. I do fully agree. I've been testing this deck for 2 months straight at my locals. I've been grinding, and there's been times where, like, you know, there's so many variations of builds that I've done with this deck. I've ran this at 3, I've ran this at 4, I've ran this at 2, I've ran this so forth and so forth. This version, though, in terms of the results of consistently, like, just kind of even just beating freaking road decks, is been an improvement. And then playing this week felt more fluid. And the crazy thing about having this at 1, and it really is down to just how it goes on the day, is when you just have to look at the fucking 1 off. It's just like every time I'm like, boom, it's there. And then with the time I ran this at 3, never see it, which is hilarious. But the thing that's good with this is that, you know, on play you can throw this out and you can literally play out a Shumon from your hand for free, which is great. So you've got this out, you've got your Shu out, and effectively if you go with the starter deck Shu, effectively you got a search and it's all popping off. Really works well if you also evo with your EX7 Shu, play this out, then you've literally got a nice bit of board presence, which is sick. The reason why I have cut this down though is because even though its second effect is fantastic, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with puppet trait, by suspending this tamer, gain a memory. So it's not reducing the cost of. It's not like reducing the cost of evo. You're gaining the memory, being different here. It's great, but it requires me to digivolve, and sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just won't be able to meet the condition to even get this off, which is unfortunate. Versus obviously this, I'll just have free memory. This, I'll just gain memory if the opponent has a Digimon out on field. This is a condition. This supplements what I'm trying to do. And sometimes I just don't want to kind of throw a Shu out because if I can't follow that up, it's awkward. It's awkward. I'm wasting resources and I can't get them shoes back out. But as soon as those shoes are in the freaking closet, they're done. They are done unless I'm tripping out a starter deck Shumon that can obviously summon out one from trash, being the thing. So I think, hot take, if we get another Searcher Shu as support, this shit ramps well up, because sometimes I don't want to just throw a EX7 Shu out if I can't follow up. But if I had more Searcher Shus, this would be fantastic. This would be freaking going hard. So it's completely up to you in terms of ratios. In all honesty, I don't think there's a right or wrong here. There's success in Japan where they don't even have this card and they literally go 4 of this, 3 of this. I've tried that. It was alright. It didn't feel great. It felt a little bit clunky at times. I felt like I missed the Orisa So I was like, I'll add the girl back in, and it's been absolutely great again. So I feel like you still need Promo Orisa. Having it at 1 feels nice and comfortable. If I manage to search it, I'm definitely certainly picking this one because it's the only one I've got. So that's the ratios there. Obviously, grill me in the comments about the 3 starter Orisas, but I think I give myself enough validation of why I run it at 3 is because I hate being choked in this deck, and people will run with it. So going on to now the options. Options, we run 6. So this is where another little hot take and probably a controversial kind of piece will come in, where people think, whoa, these ratios are crazy, but hear me out. So originally I did run trainings at 4. Once again, it's not a bad shout. I've still got them 4 sleeved up, you know what I'm saying? Though sometimes I just need a deeper dig, and sometimes I just want to have a different line. I want a different option than me just pushing out and having to Evo to use this. And sometimes I just need 2 memory to just do something else. To just like 2 memory and hard play EX5 Vetemon in order to get the turn off. Beautiful. I've not passed them too much memory. I've just passed them enough for me to execute this play in order for me to get a good old blast Evo off, which is fantastic. The deeper dig comes up. This is what sometimes I found with physical, is that I use it hoping that I get a piece. I don't get a piece, so I'm still in raising, just chilling whilst the opponent's just popping off. It is fucking awkward. If you're too slow and the opponent's set up, it makes it very hard for you to combat their board without fueling their game plan, which is a little bit annoying. Though training is fantastic in terms of enabling us to get our Tamers as well as our pieces, and then that delay, pretty much if you're a champion, it's a free Evo. If you go into ultimate, costs 1, and then if you're going into your mega, either it's going to be costing 1 or it's going to be costing you 2. So its applications are fantastic, do not get me wrong, but I like the split to give me more options of play, and being the thing. And that deeper dig freaking comes up, because getting that 2 memory can easily support shenanigans like Wonder Stomp that we have brought back in. I took it out, instantly missed it. Wonder Stomp comes clutch, and obviously with us having more rush Orisas out, it's just an absolute mainstay. Like when I didn't have it in, oh my days, like I don't know why things just felt really hard to do stuff. Just having that draw and then playing out a shoe means that like I could be netting possibly 3 cards. If I play Wonder Stomp, draw 1, then play out Pawn Chess, trash 1, draw 2, blah, that's fixing my hand beautifully. If I play this out, do the starter deck shoe, blah, got 3 cards, fix my hand, fantastic. Then if I need to claim game, obviously this is not going to be public knowledge to the opponent, so they might be thinking, yeah, I'm sitting pretty freaking sweet here, they can't do shit. Wonder Stomp, what's that, puppet? Shazam, Orisa, get out there, suspend, and give that boy rush. So Wonder Stomp, definitely clutch, definitely a great card. The only thing with this current like option lineup, personally for me, is that once again we don't necessarily have any form of bombs being the thing, and I've just not really seen a good bomb outside of kind of Wyvern's Breath being, you know, one of the go-to options. The Noble Family Arts sounds great, you know, it is searchable, but it's situational. It's like, yeah, I can neg 6 at the least, but say if I didn't have like Cendrill, or to be honest, even Chaparral with the inhabitables that we do have, if we want to obviously trigger a swing, realistically, with that lineup, we could neg up to 12k pretty nicely. It might require a little bit more testing, but I definitely felt like Wonder Stomp is a really good card in order for you to just kind of, once again, steal wins, or steal matches, should I say, from the opponent. But once again, the options are completely up to you in retrospect. Like, you could just literally just run, take out Wonder Stomps, run max trainings, run 2 Yellow Memory Brews. I think Yellow Memory Brews is a really good card in the deck, despite obviously us possibly bottom decking our Tamers from it. That nice search of 4 goes hard. It does go hard, and it's helped me out massively. And then obviously netting 2 memory to do whatever you want to do is also key. So yes, that concludes for the deck profile there. Nice cheeky upgrades from EX7. Obviously, you know, we've fully committed to the deck, as you can see. You know, 2 SPs, really cool stuff. Freaking happy with the tokens. Tokens go hard. I really do love these tokens. And it is going to be the deck that I am going to pilot in Ultimate Cup on November. So obviously this is not going to be the exact build I'll probably run, because obviously I'm still currently testing, still grinding the matches and all that jazz. But it is a fun deck, and I feel like it's one of those ones where I'd be happy to see how I do on the day. I'm not expecting for me to go massively high placings, but you know, I've gone with meta decks into large scale tournaments, and I just wasn't him. I was watching other people be him. I was not him. But I feel very confident in terms of the game plan that I'm trying to do with this list, and where I'm at the moment. And it's just, once again, you know, I want to be having fun, and I want to do you guys a service of, you know, taking a deck that I'm passionate about and then reporting on how I did on the day. So guys, that's your boy done. If you enjoyed the video, smash it with a like as standard. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you in the next one. Digidread off the mic.